Welcome to the Nick and Rob Homer Hour, and today we're going to be going over the Week 10 results, seeing how great the Patriots are doing yet again. We got the Colts doing awesome, winning a big game in overtime. Some news involving the Cowboys, not the most exciting right now, but we will go over it. And then, of course, we're going to do our Week 11 picks. That's next on the Nick and Rob Homer Hour. So, Rob, how you doing there?
I'm doing good. My team's won 7 in a row, so just exactly how we drew it up before the season started. And we're welcoming into the pod a good friend of ours, Justin. Justin's a member of my family and a pretty much a diehard football fan who happens to have a unique perspective on this week's Bucs Patriots game. So, welcome to the pod, Justin.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to have you on. So, Nick, did any big news happen in Dallas this week that was like positive, that didn't involve the football team or Jerry Jones? Maybe today, this morning, did you celebrate anything?
I know this is primarily a football show, but if you know me and if you don't know me yet, then you're about to find out that I'm a huge Dallas sports fan. And the second favorite sport that I cheer for is basketball until a recent trade that happened for the Mavericks. But just recently, we fired Nico Harrison. And guess what, Rob? I'm back, baby. I got my Mavs gear on. I'm in it. We got Cooper flag. I am back. I just needed that cancer to get out. And I cannot tell you the weight off my shoulders with that one. It's still sad that we lost Luka, but at least I could cheer for the organization again, somewhat. I don't like the owner, but whatever. I'm used to having a bad owner. I'm used to having bad teams. I could do that all day. I'm a Dallas sports fan. Can't have a guy that backstabbed the city like that, and I'm glad he's gone.
Agreed. All right, folks. Well, we're going to jump right into Eastside news, and we're going to kick it off with the Pats and the Bucs game. And we're gonna chat with Justin because he was at the game. So, best way to get the recap.
This is Eastside News.
So the game was the atmosphere of the game was awesome. It's typical for a Bucs game. I was a season ticket holder for 6 or 7 years when I lived down in Tampa. You have a lot of the snowbirds who either retire there or they spend 6 months up north and then 6 months down in Florida. Typically a standard attendance for a Bucs game is it's never 100% or even 80% Bucs fans. It's typically 60-40, 50-50. And I got to say, the Patriots fans traveled well. I would say it was probably, I could almost say it was maybe 60-40 Pats, 55-45 Pats. There were a lot of Patriot fans there. And you could hear them. They were loud. But it was great. It was a really good game. The Bucs got off to a really good start. Mayfield looked pretty sharp. He threw that touchdown to Egbuka right off the bat. But the Patriots kind of persevered. They kind of weathered the storm. And even at the half, they took the lead with a nice catch from Stephon Diggs, a little toe tapper in the corner of the end zone. I think they just played solid defense, I think, in the second half. And I think that's really kind of what won them the game. And then, the running back for the Patriots, now I can't remember his name.
Travion Henderson.
Travion Henderson just, and that offensive line for the Patriots just dominated the Bucs front line that game. So, but Bucs kept it close right up to the end. But I think that offensive line was too much for the Bucs defense.
And the Bucs have been having. Oh yeah, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Oh, I just have quick general fandom questions, and then I'll get out of the way. You guys can talk all Patriots, Tampa Bay you want here, but some quick general fandom questions. When Baker Mayfield was picked up by Tampa Bay, How did that make you feel? Did you feel like this is going to be turning out the way it has, or were you one of the people that were saying, this isn't a good deal. If he was
Question.
bad there, he's going to be bad here.
Yeah, I mean, with Tom Brady kind of departing, I mean, he's the GOAT, you know. It's hard to fill his shoes. And you know, we kind of and you know, Baker was starting to kind of turn into you know, just you know, he was at Cleveland and then LA for what it seemed like just a minute, and then he was with Carolina, so he was kind of becoming a little bit of a traveler. And then he lands with Tampa Bay. You know, he becomes the starter. You know, I wasn't super optimistic, but I got to tell you, he's grown on me. He's gritty. He's got that. You know, you know, that presence. You know, he's definitely won me over for sure.
He's won a lot of people over, and I think one of the funniest things is he was the biggest villain in the NFL not that long ago when he got cut by Cleveland. Everyone was ousting him, and now he's become like every man's favorite quarterback that they root for. And I just think it's just so funny how his story turned around, and it's got to be awesome that the team you cheer for is a part of this turnaround.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of like why he was such a villain. I mean, he was like a number one pick. I mean, maybe because you know he didn't live up to expectations, but you know, at first in Cleveland. But who in Cleveland ever lives up to their expectations?
He won a playoff game in Cleveland.
He did, yeah.
Cleveland.
Yeah, I think that's the last time they're ever in the playoffs. So
yeah,
I mean,
I think he made a lot of college fans angry, and Rob can attest to that, being a Big 12 at the time, Big 12 Texas fan. So I think it's just a lot of people wanted to see him fail.
Yeah, but yeah, he's you know, he's got that charisma, you know, and you can tell. I was watching warmups when I was at the game. He completely has that entire team. Like he has won them over. He is like going around and he's like, you know, headbutting everybody, and they got doing the high fives all, you know, to everybody on that team during the warmup. It was cool to see. You can tell he's the leader of that team. And you know, I've got big hopes. You know, I'm hoping that this could maybe lead to maybe another Super Bowl berth for the Bucs. We'll see.
They are looking good. This is the most nervous I've been about a game all season for the Patriots, especially now that I've started to believe in them after the start. They did real well. I got to ask you about Emeka Egbuka. Is he already like a top 5, top 10 receiver in the NFL? Like, you get to watch him every week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he scored a touchdown every week. I mean, he's the number one now with Evans out and Godwin out. You know, he's the legitimate number one target for Baker Mayfield. And he stepped up. You know, I think he had another 100 yards and a touchdown, you know, this past week. You know, I have him on my fantasy team, so I'm super happy that he continues to produce. But yeah, I think he's legit. I think he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver in this league, I think.
He's you stole him from me in that fantasy draft. I was getting ready to pick him with the next pick, and then you snagged him. I was like, no. I was like, of course Justin was ready to get that one. It's his team.
It is.
And yeah, he's been good, that's for sure. My other game day question, then if Nick has some more, I'm happy to cede the floor, is what's the pregame vibe down in Tampa? Are they early arrivers? Are they late arrivers? Is there a good tailgate scene?
Yeah, that's a good question. So tailgate scene is great. You know, the parking lots are full. You know, people like to tailgate. I think they like to tailgate a little late because I think it does lead to some late arrivals. I would say the stadium's probably 60% full, probably when kickoff rolls around. It's not terrible. It's not the worst I've seen, but yeah, I think everybody, just because, you know, especially like with the Patriots and stuff, sometimes it's just freezing out and everybody wants to, you know, get into the stadium. It's beautiful in Florida, and I think people just kind of enjoy being outside and you know, being with all their friends and grilling and stuff, and then all of a sudden they look at their watch, like, oh, dang, we got to get inside. So yeah, usually it's pretty late arrivals, except there's been some night games or some big games where everybody kind of gets in a little bit earlier if it's like a really big game. This game, it felt like there were, and maybe it's because there were also a lot of Patriot fans there, but it felt like it was pretty full once kickoff started. So
awesome.
Seems to be a stereotype of Florida teams, is they like all across the board is they arrive late. Is it
Mhm.
the location of the stadium? Is it just the culture of the city? It's just
Yeah.
the way it is, huh?
Yeah, I think it's just the culture of the city. I think everyone's so laid back there. Everybody, it's everybody's so relaxed. Everybody's like, it's not really, everybody's not in a hurry like they kind of are up here in New England and the Boston area. I think everyone's just a little more chill, and I think and that's not to take away from being a diehard football fan and a Bucs fan. Bucs fans are great. They love to root for their team, but um, I think it's just the culture of the Florida teams, in terms of like, oh, do we need to get in like to watch the first 30 minutes of warm-ups and all that stuff? I don't think so. Um, but I think they show up when they need to show up. So
That makes a lot of sense. So you've seen Drake May at least probably a few times live now.
yeah.
Because you go to Pat's games all the time.
Mhm.
What's your in-person? Because this year he's jumping out of the TV, but how does that translate live?
Yeah, he's definitely won over the Pats Nation. You can definitely see it. I still think he's young. I mean, maybe it's just because he looks like he's 12 years old. I don't know. But he's made such huge strides this year, and I think he's still has the highest completion percentage in the league right now. He's making really good decisions throwing the football. It's amazing to see that he's only in his second year, and he's led the Patriots to 7 wins in a row. It's amazing. It's really amazing what he's done with the team, and I think maybe I think it's part of it. Maybe Josh McDaniels. I think he's really grooming him into a really good quarterback. I think having just that coaching staff, I think has really helped him progress a lot this year. And you look around, they added Stephon Diggs, but it's other than that, I mean, it's kind of the same weapons he had last
Yeah.
year, and and they're not bad. Like the tight ends, they've got and they've got the tight ends, they've got the running game has always been pretty well to complement that offense. But I think Diggs is probably a big add for them in terms of like just that consistency for a wide receiver. But yeah, I think we could see a Bucs Patriots Super Bowl.
I would not be sad about that.
Yeah.
I don't know who's carrying it this year, but it'd be hilarious if it was Fox and Brady was on the call. That'd be kind of perfect. I feel like he'd have to wear one of those half and half jerseys
Oh yeah,
for the call.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. That'd be great.
I felt like you should have been on the call in this game. I know.
Well, it was a
CBS had the
CBS
rights.
game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you just they give up, they give up games all the time, and that should have been one that Fox should have bid for big time. Get Tom Brady on the call there; that would have been awesome. But instead we had Tony Romo and Jim Nance. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. Awesome. So, Nick, do you have any other questions? I don't want to steal your.
So, what was exactly you're saying Super Bowl? So, I guess are you feeling this is the team that's going to take them there, because it's a tough NFC. You got the I don't know about the Green Bay Packers, but the Philadelphia Eagles, LA Rams, Detroit Lions. There's a lot of teams to get through. You think Tampa Bay can compete against those?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Bucs defense. They've been a little inconsistent over the course of the season. I think if they can, kind of shore up some of their weaknesses a little bit. I think that offense, once they get healthy, and they get Bucky back, even Evans, he's at least maybe for the playoffs, and they get Godwin back. That wide receiver group is probably unmatched right now in the NFL when they're healthy. I mean, you're going to have you've got Evans, you've got Tez Johnson, you got Sterling Shepard. Even Kate Otten as a tight end has shown really good flashes of being one of could be a top target or top tight end in this league too in terms of receiving. I think they've got the weapons. I think they could. You look at the Rams and their offense. I think the Bucs can compete with that too. So I think they can be up there in terms of the top offenses in the league, and they just got to shore up the defense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It'd be a lot of fun if in February we get to have you back on for a preview episode and it's a rematch. That would be awesome.
I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Justin. We always love to get when we can get a first eye view from what actually happened in the stadium. Always good to hear about what happens at other places, how things like that work. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Have
Justin.
a good one.
You too. Bye.
Awesome. So there you go, guys. That is Justin, good friend of ours, a member of my family, in our fantasy league. So we're chatting with him about football all the time. And I saw he mentioned on Sunday that he was down at the game. I'm like, well, we got to have him on. He's seen it happen. And it was a great game for him to have seen live.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go because we were chatting with
Yeah,
Justin
it
for a bit,
was
which was
awesome
great.
getting him
So I don't
on.
need. Yeah, it was awesome getting him on. I don't need to go too much into stats. I'll just throw a couple out real quick as far as the big stats go. Drake May, 16 to 31, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have that 1 interception. But the stat that I really want to highlight, is finally, Nick, we've been waiting for this all season. Travion Henderson, 14 for 147. With the long being the game-clinching, the game-icing 69-yard touchdown run. Best part about that run is he had such a big lead, he actually looked back to the sideline to make sure he had permission to score because of the time and the circumstance. And he looked back, and Vrabel's just like, get in there. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then the other thing, I don't know, were you watching this game? I'm assuming you weren't watching this one live.
Not live. I saw the quick 10-minute clips of it, and then I also had Red Zone on. And I definitely saw that touchdown play by Travion Henderson, and I was like, Rob's got to be ecstatic because they've been waiting for Henderson to stop fumbling the ball and start playing a little bit better and show him the talent that he was showing in the preseason. So it had to be a big day for you because if Henderson gets it in gear, this offense is stacked.
Yeah, and he kind of had to because Stevenson's out hurt, and then Terrell Jennings, who was supposed to come in and kind of help spell Henderson, he went down injured, out for the game. So it really was like if they were running the ball, it was pretty much him. So he had to do it, and he did it. But what I don't know if you heard about this, so I had to bring it up. Tony Romo, as we know, he says lots of interesting things. Did you hear about his latest viral moment from Sunday?
Fireable. You're saying fireable?
Viral.
Oh, viral. No, I did not. I was like, viral.
So,
wow.
So during the game, this is a quote. This is a quote that he said about the New England Patriots. This team is DTF, Jim. Details, toughness, and they finish.
He knows
Nance
what
replied,
he's doing, right?
I'd like to think Romo is still young enough that he might know what DTF actually stands for. If you don't, you can Google it. We're not going to spell it out for you. This is a family-friendly podcast, but we still had to bring this up. And then the best is Nance replies back to him. That's close to what Vrabel tells him too. But I think his T in Romo's acronym would stand for technique.
That was good. Nance said
that?
That's pretty clever. I like that from Nance.
Do you think that Vrabel gave him some sort of quote like that just to see if they'd say it later on, or do you think that was a legit quote about Vrabel? About what Vrabel says the team is?
Vrabel's a very smart guy, so if he wanted to just mess with them, he probably would. But Tony Romo, he is just so wheels off. Later career calling Tony Romo is just so bizarre out there, and I don't. Vrabel probably made the joke, and then Romo just got it onto the broadcast because he just thought it'd be funny.
And then Nance didn't know what to do.
He played it off really well, though. I really like that, though. I like Nance's response. I'm usually not the biggest fan of football, Nance. So for him to come up with something like that, I was like, okay, that's actually pretty good, Nance.
Yeah, it's like you said, later career. I'm like, wait, he's in what, year 8 now as an announcer? Tony Romo, it's 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, he's been there for quite some time. And when he hit the league, I mean, he was one of my favorites. And then he got a little goofy, and I'm okay with it. But I'm certain, I don't know. Like, I actually get kind of down when I hear it's a Romo game. I'm like, he- he-
Yeah, for me, it's Romo games, which the first year
loved
and a
him.
half that he was he was analyzing, dissecting. I loved predicting plays, shtick. Although it wasn't a shtick, he still knew the defenses in the league. I imagine that's harder to do now, 7, 8 years later, when you're not as fresh in the game rooms. But but yeah, he is kind of off the walls. They got a weird buddy cop thing going on with him and Nance. Um, those games are tough. Whereas like then you look at NBC, they got Collinsworth and Tirico, and you're just like, Tirico's not bad, but you got like Collinsworth is just, if the NFL really ever wanted to just try to break the world, they'd skip out on a play-by-play guy and just say, you know what, we're giving you Romo and Collinsworth together, one call, one game, bridging the network gap.
I know this is a terrible thing to say because a lot of people don't like Collinsworth. I actually kind of like Collinsworth. It's a cartoon character, but I'm okay with the cartoon character. If you're just goofy like he is, I'm okay with it. It's just Romo. It doesn't seem like it's character. It just seems just weird and bizarre. But me and you disagree on Collinsworth. I don't think he's the
Fair
best,
enough.
but
Yeah.
he's one of my favorites. Like
I think my main issue
is
is because the Chiefs are so good, they get a lot of national games, they get a lot of primetime games. So Collinsworth calls a lot of Chiefs games, and I'm sure he was just as ridiculous about Brady. But I got homer ears. What do I know? But like, I mean, Mahomes could turn and hand the ball off, and Collinsworth would go off about what an otherworldly next level handoff that was, and it's like, dude, really, really?
oh, he is terrible about that. Him and Josh Allen, you get those two playing against each other, it's like, oh, Collinsworth is going to lose his mind. But yeah, he is a little over the top with Patrick Mahomes. But I don't hate Patrick Mahomes near. And when I say hate, I know you respect. But like,
Yeah.
you cheer against him. I get it.
Yeah, it's
I
just
just
the
don't
same way
have
you
that.
cheer against Derek Jeter.
Right.
There's respect to
Yeah.
it. It's not pure hatred.
Yeah, I know how you are as a fan, but it's just they're in the AFC, so I just don't have this beef with them, like
Fair.
all the other AFC teams, and I'd rather them beat the Eagles and lose to them, in my opinion. But it is what it is.
No,
But
that was
I get it.
that was okay. That was okay. So yeah, another big win for the Patriots. My goodness, 7 in a row, firmly in control of the AFC East. Honestly, probably just with how the AFC is, probably legitimately 2 wins away from 3 at most, probably from clinching a playoff berth with 7 games to go. So I hope they just keep the foot in the gas and keep right on going. But what else we got going on? What's going on in the NFC East?
I'm gonna move on to the team that's making some headlines over here because we got our second firing, Rob. We got our second firing in the league as the New York Giants lost a huge game. New York Giants lost. They were up 24-10 in the fourth quarter against the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears are a really good team. So for them to do it was pretty impressive to even have that lead at Chicago in a really windy day. But 24-10, not enough. I'm sorry, 20-10, not enough for the Bears to go unanswered. They got 14 extra points right there. Caleb Williams started dueling it out, running the ball, passing the ball, doing what he does. He looks like he's got his career turned around, and Ben Johnson seems to have him fixed. Bears ended up coming back and winning that game, and it ended up costing the Giants dearly, and by costing them, I mean their head coach. Dayball ended up going down, and it's not like Jackson Dart had a bad game. He threw for 287 yards, compared and ran for let me see it here. I'm sorry, 66 yards. Got 2 touchdowns on the ground. Had a really great game, great momentum. Things were looking good for the Giants, and then the injury happened, and he has been on concussion protocol 4 times this year now. 4 times. And this last one ended up getting him out. So that's a huge issue. Russell Wilson ended up going into the game. Offense stalled, and before you know it, they lose the game against the Chicago Bears. As soon as they land over in New York, Daboll gets fired. So many questions, so much turmoil going on with the New York Giants. I mean, I have 2 questions for you, Rob. Number 1, Jackson Dart. Do we have another Tua on our hands?
I think he just. I don't think sharing a locker room with Cam Scatterbo helps. I think because Scatterbo loves to just throw his head into everything. I'm say that mostly joking, but I don't necessarily think we have another Tua. I think we had a situation where we've got a coach fighting for his job, and I know the NFL has protocols in place, but he probably shouldn't have been cleared the last time it happened. And if I was Giants ownership, you have something special in Dart, special, and you have a 2-8. They haven't had a bye week yet, so a 2-8 team, right?
2-8.
So playoffs are done, especially in the NFC. Playoffs are over. Park Dart's butt on the bench for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not sure when their bye is. Maybe at least through their bye. Park him on the bench. Make sure his helmet and his head gets as healthy as possible. If you decide to put him on ice for the season, that's cool too. You're not going to give. Well, actually, the guy they've got as the interim head coach, Kafka, he's been a finalist for a couple jobs the last few years. So he's going to coach hard because he's going to view this as an addition to stay with the Giants. I think they're going to go clean slate, totally new staff. And also, so he's going to audition for the Giants, but also showcase his skills to the rest of the NFL who haven't quite picked him yet. This saying like, hey, look, see, I can do it. But I would still, you've got that number 1 pick staring you straight in the face. Clearly, you need to get some more protection for Dart. You don't need to draft a quarterback. You certainly don't need a running back as long as Scatterbo is back and healthy. You have decent weapons. You have decent wide receivers. Don't waste Malik Neighbors. So you know what that means? Go out, win the number 1 overall pick, win. And then when a team's desperate for a quarterback or receiver, trade down to the 3rd or 4th pick for a haul, bring in the top offensive lineman, and then add more pieces around.
Well,
and
I
then
think
with the right coach,
sorry,
you got a playoff spot.
Yeah, but I think you hit the nail on the head. I just don't know if Kafka can afford it because he's got to show that he can start winning out there. And he's taking a big risk taking this interim job because we've seen the Giants, they can win with this. And if they can win with it, then a coach should be able to win with them. And Kafka's got to do his part to, he's going to be going for it. He's just going to try to win as many games as possible. It's just, I'm with you.
Let's ride with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you just go with Russell Wilson. You try to show what you could do with him. There's so many improvements that you could do on that offense when it comes to just running. I know I preach it all the time. Run, play, action, and motion like crazy, and he gives your quarterback a chance. The only reason why Jackson Dart's doing well is because Jackson Dart's that good. If that was much more of a quarterback-friendly offense, he would even do better than he is already shown now to be. So, they're in a tough position. So some of the rumor mills that are coming out, though, is that Mike McCarthy is already being talked about as possibly taking over that head coaching job. What's your opinion on that?
So here's the thing. And when we get a little bit later in Eastside News, we'll talk about why I don't think Mike McDaniels is going at the moment looks like he's going to be a free agent after this year.
Right.
They're still playing for that guy down in Miami. I think if you look at the history of the Giants' recent head coaches, and I'm not going to say them in order, but you got Brian Daboll, you've got Ben McAdoo, you've got Joe. You want to know what Joe Judge is doing right now? He is an analyst down in Ole Miss. That's how far he's fallen. You've got Pat Shurmur. All these. You want to know what Shurmur's doing? Offensive coordinator for Deion Sanders out in Colorado, a team that's probably not even going to make a bowl this year. So they keep trying to bring in the hot new assistant or whatever. and try to get the next young thing. That's clearly not working. Who is the head coach of the Giants when they did those terrible things to the Patriots?
Oh,
Do
it
you
was
remember?
Tom Coughlin. Tom
Yep,
Coughlin.
Tom Coughlin. I think you bring in someone that can reset the culture. Reset the culture. You don't need someone, no, you don't necessarily need your coach for the next 10 years. You need your coach for the next 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
McCarthy would be at the top of my list there. If McDaniels ends up fired, put him at the top of the list immediately. But if he doesn't, McCarthy, I think, would be a great. Would you take McCarthy back right now? And I know you're liking Shoddy, but McCarthy leaves, and so do the 12-win seasons.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot more to that, though. Shoddy's getting dealt a
I was
really weird
simplifying
card
it, yeah.
here. Yeah, Micah Parsons being traded was definitely a big one. But you are absolutely right about this. He's a stable coach. He's going to rebuild the culture. He's going to get that team back into winning again. He's not my favorite play caller schematically. He drives me crazy schematically. And he
But
might not
maybe
be
you
known
keep
as
Kafka
this.
on.
No, I say go with McCarthy. I'm telling you.
No. I mean,
McCarthy
like,
would
as
be
the OC. Maybe you don't totally wipe everyone away. You keep, because their offense is functional.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with Kafka. I think he would get fired immediately by McCarthy because McCarthy's big. He's got to control his own offense. It's just the way he operates over there.
Fair.
But it wouldn't be bad.
Fair.
And look at Dak's career when Kellen Moore was running the game. Not that Dak's a top 5 quarterback or whatever or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but he was mentally fried with the Kellen Moore system on his last year in the 2022 to 23 playoffs when we were playing against the 49ers. He was cooked in the water. He just all of a sudden didn't know how to play football. And McCarthy, after Kellen Moore left, got Dak Prescott to focus on the game. He taught him, it's called it's the 2.3 quarterback. He goes, you got two reads, make your quick 2 reads, try to anticipate what they're going to be. And then if those aren't there, I need you to just do you, whether that's running the ball, looking at other reads, getting out of the pocket, doing whatever you got to do to take that to the other level. And Dak took that, learned from it, and got back to his respectable level that he is right now.
Yeah.
I think him with
And
Jackson
look what we did
Dart,
with Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, same thing. I mean, Rodgers' career with LaFleur, he did okay. He started off real hot and then it started falling apart. He's doing okay with Pittsburgh. Not the greatest, but he's doing okay. I think a lot of that has to do with what McCarthy did with him, and I don't think he gets enough respect over that. Hell, he was the quarterback's coach for Joe Montana when Joe Montana took on the 49ers. So I'm sorry. Yeah, that was actually a Kansas City version. Joe Montana. I should correct that.
But still.
He is a really, really good coach at trying to calm a quarterback down, simplify the game. I don't like the fact that he's got the same problem with play action and motioning players. He doesn't do that. But he is great for young quarterbacks to just learn the game. When the Bears had an opportunity to get him, I thought they should have done it because Caleb Williams just needed some new air. Looks like that ended up being wrong. Ben Johnson was a good pickup over there. But the Giants, I would take advantage of it. Go get McCarthy, get Jackson Dart fixed. I mean, not fixed, but improve his game to learn the game at a different angle. And then, like you said, it's about a 2 to 3 year commitment. Get the team, the culture back up and running. By the time you start going into the playoffs and you need that extra oomph, do what you got to do with McCarthy. But he's definitely
Move him to the
help
front
you.
office.
Yeah, he's going to help you rebuild that team, and he'll do it really quickly. He's a solid coach that's so underrated. I don't know why he doesn't get the appreciation. I guess he's big, he's goofy, and he's not the best at the press conferences, but he's a pretty good coach, and I think the Giants should definitely take a look at it and possibly pick him up. I think it would be a big pickup for him.
Yeah, I think you are spot on there. Another name that was mentioned a lot on ESPN today was Mike Tomlin. But I don't know. If I'm Tomlin, I'm going to take a year off and survey the league if I choose to go back. He's done everything. That's up to Tomlin if he wants to go. Plus, if they can hold off the Ravens and win the division, you're not firing Mike Tomlin. Unless you guys
Why
just
did they?
decide that it's been enough's enough. But if Tomlin's available and he wants to coach for you, you hire him immediately. But
I don't get why Tomlin's name always ends up on these coaching carousels. He's not going anywhere, guys. Like,
he's never had a
Pittsburgh likes
losing
him, he
season.
likes Pittsburgh.
He's never had a
good.
losing season. Yeah.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers have only had 3 coaches in their franchise, and they last like 30 years, each of them. So for them to quit on Tomlin, they're going to quit on Tomlin when Tomlin decides to retire. So
And as it
I
should be.
I don't get it.
As it should be. But literally in, I believe, the last decade plus, the Giants have had twice the amount of coaches that the Steelers have had in the last 60 years.
It's crazy. Like, it's amazing. It's a cool historical tradition that they have, and they should keep it up. I say you just keep Tomlin, and he'll win. He's already won you a Super Bowl, so he's done his part.
There's one other name I would throw out there for the Giants. I have to throw it out there. I need to.
Of course.
Bill Belichick. But if you do it with a few very set terms. 1, 3 years max. 3 years max, you are done. 2, your sons cannot be on the staff. No sons on the staff. 3, you must bring in a proven, either keep Kafka, if we're going to go the Belichick route, keep Kafka, or bring in a proven offensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels is not available. That's the homer in me saying that. Bring in a proven offensive coordinator. And 4, Jordan Hudson is not allowed within 5 square miles of the stadium.
I would increase.
Same with Mike
break
Lombardi.
up with her.
Same with Mike Lombardi. Well, no, she can enjoy the New York, New Jersey life. But no Mike Lombardi, no Jordan Hudson. Show up, coach football. 3 years, or when you get your 13 wins, you're done. We've got the next person ready to go. We're happy to have you in the front office doing whatever.
It would do him well. I mean, it'd be kind of cool.
He can win 13 games with. He could win 13 games with this team in 2 to 3 years. Definitely 3, but I think easily 2.
Yeah. First, I think he's got to get UNC figured out before they're gonna.
I think they might figure it out for him at the end of the year. They might choose to pay his buyout. It's only $1 million.
Really? That's it?
Jesus. Yeah. It dropped. Yeah. He made it. He doesn't need money. So.
Yeah. I feel like he shouldn't fail like that, though. I feel like he's going to stay around and actually try to get that team up and running again.
Oh, he's so stubborn. That's what, if UNC doesn't kick him out, he's going to stay. But the Giants they're his original franchise. So
yeah,
but yeah, so that's the Giants. Yeah, so I got to bring it up. I think it'd be tough. I think the Giants fan base would be okay with that hire at the moment, as long as it was a short leash.
I think so. I would like it for historical purposes. I'm just like that, though. I'm a football guy, history guy. So that's all I got, Rob. That's where my Super Bowls come from, the history. So
the history. Dude, I understand. It's been since 2018 for the Patriots.
Yeah, it's been tough.
That's pre-COVID. It's a whole different world out there now.
Yeah, it's a completely different world. It's really, really tough. Matches well with the 30 years that I've been going through.
But, very similar.
Very similar. We share in camaraderie, but that's the Giants. Rob, who do you have next? Is it the Miami Dolphins?
Let's talk Dolphins Bills combo, because they played each other, and my goodness, friends, it was a 30-13 final in Miami, and the game didn't feel that close. This was
Mm.
I don't know what happened to the Bills. I don't know if the warm weather after started the winter in Buffalo started to turn just messed with them. I don't know if maybe they just assumed they were going to get a walkthrough in Miami, but they didn't. They certainly did not. 30-13 the final, snaps a 7-game losing streak. And it's not like their offense was wild. Tua threw for 173 yards. That's it. That's it. So it's
Ran
just
the ball
like,
well though.
yeah, they ran the ball really well. That was the key. They dispersed it. James Cook, 13 for 53. We had Allen was 4 for 31 as well. So dispersed around a little bit. And then the touchdowns for the I'm reading you Buffalo stats. Oh my goodness. My goodness. So yeah, that was Buffalo. They ran it functionally, but not enough to win. Miami stats. That's what we want to talk about. A-Chain, what crazy person ever said the Miami Dolphins should trade that guy? Who was crazy enough to ever suggest that? I'm not sure. Certainly not me. No way. I never
It
would
was you,
have.
Rob. It was you.
He yeah. Yeah, it definitely was. He could I mean, had he done this right before the trade deadline, they might have gotten 2 first-round picks for him. I mean, 22 for 174. That's a 7.9 average per carry with the long of 59, the 2 touchdowns. Tua, like I said, just 15 for 21. Had 2 picks, but he had those 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 5 for 84. Doing good. And then the other side of things, Josh Allen balled out 306 yards. He had that Josh Allen interception. I already mentioned James Cook's stats when I was supposed to be talking about Miami, 13 to 53. Allen, 4 for 31 running. Allen spread the ball out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12 different receivers caught a ball for Buffalo. So they were trying. This Miami was able to shut down the run game, made them one-dimensional, and were able to win. I have said a few times, like, yeah, it would make sense for Miami to move on from McDaniels with everything that's going on, but they keep playing for him. They really keep playing for him. They play hard. If I'm Miami, I don't know how many people I would say, okay, I am trading out. As long as he truly hasn't lost the locker room, I don't know what coaches I would immediately say, yes, I'm replacing McDaniels with.
That that's a really good point. Like know the hand that's feeding what I forgot the expression, but the point is kind of George W. Bush.
Yeah.
But no, know the person that you're with and what you have instead of knowing what could be your possibility later.
Yeah, the grass isn't always greener.
Yeah, let's go with that one. Yeah, that's a lot
Yeah.
better. My Texas.
That's what you were saying. That's what you're saying.
But yeah, I really do wonder. I mean, if Mike McDaniels is, like starting to turn around, I was of the mindset that they need to fire him just to get a different culture out there. But if they keep playing for him and they keep winning, I mean, maybe Tyreek Hill was just that much of a problem in your locker room where now that he's kind of gone and away from things, they're starting to play better.
2 is still an issue, but I think he's an issue in the way like an innocent little puppy is. He doesn't know what he's saying. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just out there being, and you just roll with it.
And they got Quinn Ewers too, so maybe you could start turning it into the Quinn Ewers team and start showing Tua out the door in this game.
Or I have one for you.
What you got?
An old school style of, hey, this guy's not working too good for you. This guy's not working too good for us. Let's flip these guys. Kyler for Tua.
Both teams.
Because Kyler's probably out the door in Arizona.
Yeah.
I think they each just have one. I think they each just have one big guaranteed year left.
I think that would be a big win for the Miami Dolphins because Kyler Murray does have a lot of talent and a lot more in the tank than I think Tua does. And McDaniels can get him up and running, and he can make an exciting offense with the fact that Kyler Murray can run the ball better than Tua. So it'd be a big win. That'd be a big win for their Miami. I think that actually, the more I think about it, Miami gets the win on that. I just don't know about Arizona doing that deal because so you get Tua, and Tua's fine. He's an average quarterback, and that's just kind of all he'll ever be. He's just a pass happy quarterback and can't really run the ball that much. So I don't know how he'd fit in with Arizona. Like, would Tua be better than Brissett? Is my question, and I just don't think so. I think Brissett's probably a better quarterback.
In theory, he should be, because that's the thing with Brissett. Like, I've seen him twice in New England now. Very functional quarterback, but also very Tyrod Taylor-esque. Like, he'll get you a few wins. He's a good backup. He's not someone that you're going to ride for years. I don't think he is. Oh, maybe if he played a little bit more for some other teams, maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick would be a slightly better comp for Jacoby Brissett. But that might be doing Fitzpatrick a little bit of disservice because he had some good run in a few stops, including Buffalo. But I think Brissett, I certainly wouldn't try to ink him to a long-term deal at all. But you can do the quarterback swap and then set yourself up to draft someone new.
They're both bad deals for the current teams they're on. So, hey, you take your bad deal, I'll take my bad deal. Let's just see if change of scenery. The more I'm thinking about it, not the worst idea, Rob. I'm starting to like it. I don't know if they'll pull it off, but
it probably won't happen at all. But if I worked for either team, I'd be calling the other team and saying, "Hey, this offseason, let's take a look at this."
Maybe one of them can hire Nico and they could do it behind the NFL's back. Won't even know it's happening.
I think Nico is going to be hard pressed to find himself a job anywhere anytime soon. So hopefully he saved his money.
Oh, he's fine. No, I don't wish harm on him, by the way, everyone. I don't wish harm on him. I treat him like a human being. I still love him like any other person. I just don't want him general managing my team anymore. Okay, so
that's fair. That's legitimate. He's not welcome in Boston.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so that's the and then that's the Miami Dolphins. So the Bills, though. I mean, talk about some problems, huh?
And that's critical because now that makes their game in New England massive. The Pats have a 1.5 game lead right now. They haven't had their bye week, so it's not technically a full 2-game lead yet. But they're up 2 in the loss column. So, and then if we look ahead, let me pull it up real quick. Because remember, as everyone keeps saying, the Patriots haven't played anyone. Well, the NFL does the schedules they do for a reason, and it's not the Pats' fault that they finished in last place last year and that they have a better coach this year. You can thank Amy Adams-Strunk. It's her fault. She fired Vrabel 2 years ago and then allowed him to find his way home. So, yeah, the Pats are going to start winning. So, they've got, and we'll talk about the prediction for this week's game later, but they got the Jets on Thursday night, which, Tony and fans of the pod, we will be live. It's going to be a good one. Join us live for that one on Thursday. We got ourselves a Pats stream. It's going to be good. Our second Pats stream of the season. So it should be a really good one. And then from there, they've got like the mini bye and they're up against the Bengals. That one, it's in Cincinnati. That's going to be pretty tough. But then they got the Giants. They got the Bills again in the game that might decide the division. Then they got the Ravens. And then they finish with Jets and Dolphins. So there's a good stretch. Good chance the Pats only drop a total of 2 more games, 3 at the most, which means if the Bills want to win the division and not be on the road, because Buffalo's magic is playing at home in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, and this is the last season with in that stadium, in that storied stadium. So for them to lose out on home field that'd be devastating for the Bills Mafia.
Would not be good for them at all. And I wouldn't want to play this Pats team as the season
Yeah,
goes on. It just seems like they're getting more warmed up, more warmed up, more warmed up. So the Bills better watch out. They better get that thing turned around. That defense doesn't seem like it's stopping the run that well.
and
And
and their schedule is a lot harder of a finish than the Pats. They're up against the Bucs next. We just saw the Bucs battle New England. Um, they've got the Texans who are feisty. Steelers, Bengals. We talked about the Pats game. Browns are never an easy out, and then they've got the Eagles, and then they finish against the Jets. So at the moment, I'd say advantage Patriots for the division, and potentially advantage Patriots for the 1 seed in the AFC.
Yeah, and I'm trying to place my finger. The offense doesn't look that great. The defense isn't looking that great. I'm trying to figure out what is going on with this team. Maybe it's just not clicking. They did have, I think it was last year, they started off a little rocky and then they just started skyrocketing. Waiting for that skyrocket, and it just doesn't seem like it's happening.
They still got plenty of time
here.
But it wouldn't shock me at all. And yes, I'm a Patriots homer. Of course, I want the Patriots to win every game and win the Super Bowl. But I think they're ahead of schedule right now, which is a good thing. And I think with, again, how the league does the schedules, if they win the AFC East, they're probably going to take a step back next year. Doesn't mean they'll miss the playoffs, but their window is open. They're on the right track. They're making the right moves. But honestly, right now, when you look at the Colts are a fun story, the Pats are a fun story, the Steelers are fumbling away everything. Is it really going to be the Chiefs again out of the AFC? Or can a healthy Lamar make something happen in Baltimore? But that Baltimore hasn't looked right even with Lamar early in the season.
No. Lamar's going to take a little while for that injury, though, just to 100% come back, though. I think it's just a matter of him getting into his zone. Once Lamar's in the zone, that team's going to be so impossible to beat. But right now, takes a little warming up.
They got to make the playoffs first.
Yeah. No, I think it's looking really good there. If we had more coverage on I think that's the most interesting division just because it's so weird right now, the AFC North, and I'd love to break that down.
It's the most fun to kind of watch all the possibilities. Win-loss records are terrible, but arguably any of the 4 teams technically could still win the division, and 3 of the teams are legitimately competing for that spot. The Browns at 2-7 aren't technically out of it yet. But the Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers are all there, all within 2 games.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't count the Browns at all in that race just because they're the Browns.
No, they don't have Baker Mayfield.
But the 3 teams you mentioned, the Bengals, sorry, now I'm struggling. The Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens, they all have their problems, but at the same time, they're all exciting to watch, and they look like good teams some days. So it's going to be an interesting race. The Bengals have a lot to turn around, though, because they're competing with the Cowboys with the worst defense in the NFL. And
exactly. So I think you can probably count the Bengals out. But also, I think out of the AFC North, I think we're only going to see one playoff team. I think they're, to use a college term, I think they are a one entry team, and that's going to be whoever wins the division. Because you look over the AFC East, you got the Bills and Pats will both be in the playoffs. That's 2 spots. And then you look at the Central, the South. They might end up with a second team in. The Jags are hanging around. Texans are hanging around. And then you got 3 teams for sure that are going to be in from the West. So there's not a lot of spots. So it all comes down to, is there a second team out of the South or is there a second team out of the North?
Yeah. And it's going to be no telling towards the end of the season. I just don't think it's good. Well, they're both bad. I don't know. I don't know. That's going to be it's going to be an interesting race. For sure. We should definitely start. We're getting to that time of year where we should start pulling up playoff bracketing and just have a quick discussion on how the playoff races are looking. because
Yeah, maybe
get us
since we kind of focused on the AFC this week, clearly very intentionally is how this conversation unfolded. Maybe next week let's take a look at how the NFC is shaping up.
yeah, we could look at both playoff pictures. I think it'd just be fun. I'm gonna quickly go through mine. There really isn't too much to talk about.
Well, the Commanders are a fun disaster story, right?
It is quite a disaster story, as Mariota ended up taking over Jaden Daniels' job because Jaden Daniels had the big elbow injury, and they did not look good. Washington Commanders ended up losing 44-22 against the Detroit Lions. Terrible game by the they looked awful all game long. If you guys, a little backstory with the Detroit Lions and a little bit of how Dan Campbell works is they lost to the Commanders in the NFC Championship at Detroit too. And one thing about Dan Campbell, he doesn't forget, and he is all about revenge. He will do whatever it takes to take another team down. And boy, did he get revenge here on this game, because they smashed him. Jared Goff went 25 for 33, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Marcus Mariota, 16 for 22, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mariota doing a very Mariota game, just nice, solid, good game all the way around. But the Commanders' biggest problem right now is the fact that they cannot stop. I'd say their defense is just awful at this point. They can't stop the run or the pass. Jahmyr Gibbs got 15 attempts, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery got another 15 attempts, 71 yards. I get it. Detroit Lions, they have a good offensive line, but man, Commanders didn't show up at all. You're at home. You should have at least made it a game. And now this is like your 3rd straight blowout in a row. The Commanders are just falling apart right now, and I don't even know if I would ever pick them in a pick'em game anytime soon. I wouldn't even trust them against the bad teams.
I think they're going to end up picking
the Cowboys.
I think they're definitely picking inside the top 10 in the draft this year. They might end up picking inside the top 5.
It's going a terrible direction, and Dan Quinn, of all people, you should be getting this defense up and running, and he is losing the room or something. Dan Campbell, not Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn, and they had to play Dan Quinn.
We're talking about both the Dans. And Quinn's not going to get fired after this year. They've had so many injuries, but he's going to be in the hot seat for next season. And if they start off slow, he's going to be on is this the first coach fired list?
And he doesn't have the best head coaching track record. He did okay with Atlanta, and he took him to the Super Bowl and lost 27-3. Rob, you remember the score?
Well, it was 28-3 Falcons at the start of the 4th quarter. The Falcons did not win the game.
They did not win that game, but when he had the Atlanta Falcons, I mean, they just didn't perform that well then. I remember when the Cowboys were talking about getting Dan Quinn, and I was like, guys, it wasn't that long ago. Everyone wanted him fired in Atlanta. Now you want him to be the head coach? He did a good job last season, though, with the Commanders. I'll give him all the credit in the world, and I like Dan Quinn, but just a weird, I don't know. And you're right.
Blame me, because you stayed in.
I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right. But yeah, so that's the Commanders. They look like they're going to be a train wreck. They don't look like they're going to be making the playoffs. I predicted them to be one of the division leaders. You correctly predicted that this is going to be a step back year, and boy, I don't even think you expected this much of a step back.
No,
but it's not looking like it's a step forward year. That's for sure. Are we good on the AFC East?
The Jets. This will be this week. The Jets beat the Browns on a rainy day in New Jersey, 27-20, with Justin Fields having a whopping. Let me pull it back up. I believe he was 6 for 11. Was that what the total was? Yeah, 6 for 11 for 54 yards. Breece Hall was 21 for 83. The keys to the game, very simple: a kick return and a punt return touchdown. And then just one more touchdown, a couple field goals, game, set, match. 2 bad teams played each other in the rain. Special teams made the difference. Definitely not the quarterback. But the Jets have a little bit of momentum going into a Thursday night game.
Yeah, and they're going to be exciting to watch. Remember, we are going to be watching them live, and it's going to be a very exciting live feed. I like watching, maybe not so much the Jets, but I do like watching, Drake May and the New England Patriots out there. It's going to be fun. The last one that we got here is the Philadelphia Eagles. We kind of did a disservice to them because it was a big game. It was on a Monday night game. The reason why we're doing such a disservice, though, is it was by far the most boring game in the NFL. It was just boring. Did you get a chance to watch this one, Rob?
I mean, do we call it watching?
Oh,
It was nothing at the
terrible.
half.
It was 3-0 going into the fourth quarter. They did get a couple touchdowns to get you some excitement. And yes,
one touchdown.
Two. I mean, the score ended up being 10-7. It was 3-0.
Oh, 10. I don't know. I was thinking 10-3 in my head. Okay, 2 total touchdowns.
And yeah, that was something out there. And there's a lot of weird stuff over there. For instance, kicking. So the Philadelphia Eagles ended up getting the win, and the Philadelphia Eagles offense struggled against a respectable defense. Let's not give them any sort of shade to the Green Bay Packers. They got Micah Parsons. It's not easy to pass on them. The one struggle that the Green Bay Packers do have is they struggled against the run this season. That seemed to be their weakness. Not this game. They shut down Saquon Barkley. They did what they were supposed to do on that end, and they game planned for it correctly. And the Eagles didn't do much. Okay, so job well done, Green Bay Packers defense. And I get it. The Eagles are a pretty good defense. Let's not disrespect them, and especially that front seven's just so hard to beat. Such a tough one to take down. But this Packers offense is awful. Like, it's really, really, really bad. Jordan Love wasn't able to do anything throughout the entire game.
Is that Love's fault, or is it the fact that just like they did with Aaron Rodgers, they refused to give him a receiver, and now Tucker Kraft's out hurt? What? Golden's still developing. Golden has the potential to, but
I'm of a weird mindset where I say if you pay your quarterback enough money, your quarterback should be able to make some wide receivers. I'm not saying make it perfect, but good quarterbacks don't rely too heavily on star wide receivers. I say that's a problem with Dak, by the way. He needs a number one wide receiver. Look at Tom Brady, for instance. He didn't have to have one. Now, I get it. That's the creme de la creme. Peyton Manning, he worked with some weird wide receiver combos that, I mean, Dallas Clark, when he got traded, the tight end back in the Peyton Manning era, did absolutely nothing outside of the Peyton Manning era.
Right.
Comes back, Thomas was another one for Peyton Manning.
He did have Marvin Harrison. He did have Marvin Harrison for a long time.
He did, but Marvin Harrison is a really good wide receiver. I don't mean to disrespect it. It's just Marvin Harrison only played for Peyton Manning, right? So
yeah, that's it.
So I don't know who made who. It's impossible to tell. But anyway, sorry, I digress. But Reggie Wayne too. That was another.
But
another big one.
You can successfully argue that you're correct. Manning, outside of, I'd say, Harrison, Manning made his receivers good.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, I know Jordan Love, it's like your fourth year now playing, so I'm just wondering, at what point are you going to, take the reins? You got Golden. I know he's a rookie, and it's going to take some time. That does take time. But,
I mean, yes and no. Look at McMillan with Bryce Young over in Carolina, and then when we had Justin on at the start of the show, Ibuka with Mayfield. And you could argue before the start of the season, if to just about anyone that followed the NFL, would you rather have Jordan Love or Baker Mayfield? 9 out of 10 would have said Jordan Love.
Absolutely. And it's just not looking like the case right now. Now, Baker Mayfield is loaded with wide receivers, but
so loaded.
I got so many. But yeah, So I guess this is supposed to be about the Eagles. Eagles, big win. You went over to Green Bay. You beat them, and it's a primetime game. Never apologize for a victory on the road. Never apologize for that. I don't care if the team's good or bad. So congratulations, Eagles. That was a big win. Green Bay, that did not look pretty out there for them.
Yeah. I do have a question for you. You know, mid-season last year, there was a lot of talk about the discord in the locker room in Philly. They got to fire Sirianni, get rid of him. He's not the right guy. Well, they won a Super Bowl. But then last night, it felt like the Eagles players won in spite of Nick Sirianni. He went for it on 4th and 8 from their 36. Of course they didn't get it. Sorry, 4th and 8 from the Green Bay 36.
But yes, I know the play you're talking about.
And they didn't get it, and then luckily the defense held and avoided a tie. But also, I know it's colder and it's outside. Why aren't you? That's not even a 60-yard field goal. That's like, what, 54, 55? Why aren't they kicking the field goal if they're going to do that?
I don't know where the win was. I just say punt the ball. There's 33 seconds left, and I am 4th down guy. I am like all the time. I go for it on 4th down.
It doesn't have to go far. You're just going to get inside the 20.
Yeah, like just get a nice little punt over there. I couldn't believe that call. I thought that was really dumb. But what I also couldn't believe is the Packers had a chance to kick at the game-tying field goal, and it was clearly outside of his range. They got lucky because of a weird play. I didn't get the audio, so I didn't understand what happened, but he was able to get the kickoff before they called it dead, and he clearly could not get that ball over the goal, like the field goal post. And then LaFleur goes, okay, we're going to try to run a quick play for the 5 seconds and just see if we can get an extra 3 yards to see if he can get into range. Didn't get it. It was an incomplete pass. LaFleur sends it back out there. Like,
faith in his players.
I'm like, LaFleur, you had your look. He can't make it. Like, what are we doing? Why are you wasting the time? And if that kicker's telling you can, you tell him to shut up, go back to the bench, and I'm going to get Jordan Love to just throw a whole Hail Mary over here because I just thought that was a little bizarre. So LaFleur's just hearing about that right now in Green Bay, but weird game, boring game. I stayed to the very end of it.
I feel for you.
Should have just done something like file for taxes or something because I was just so bored during that game. It was so bad. But yeah, is that all of them? Did we get them
That's all of them. We had some good games and we had some terrible games. That's for sure. So that means, Nick, it's time to make some picks.
We forgot about the Colts, Rob.
Oh my goodness. What's going on with those Colts? And oh my.
What's going on with the Colts? What's going on with the Colts? What's going on with the Colts? Is it go blue? Let's ride. Or lucky shoe? Who knows? Who knows? What's going on with the Colts?
I am so sorry, Colts Nation.
Yes, it's what's going on with the. It was so funny. Yeah, he gave up, and I was like, dude, that's the team of the pod. We just got to get them. But yes, Rob might have forgot you, Colts. I did not. I want to talk about the big game where. And
I was listening to it on our drive out. I had it on the radio on their drive out.
And it was a very exciting game, the most exciting game of all the ones that we watched, too, right? I think, right?
And probably one of the best overall games that Europe has gotten from the NFL. Yeah. They usually get Thursday night level stinkers. This was not that.
It definitely was not. And the Colts fell, and they fell quickly, or not quickly, but they ended up 17 points down against the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. And ended up coming back to win the game 28-24, and pulled it off over in Berlin. Rob, you picked Atlanta, right? Yeah, no, I think on the and I told you I have no clue on this game. I don't even have a feel for it. They're playing
I
in
kind
Berlin.
of flipped a coin in
It's
my
the
head.
Atlanta Falcons. I just went the opposite that you did, so I ended up lucky with the Colts on that one. And
Yep.
the Colts ended up pulling it off. Exciting game, great for Berlin. They look really good out there. Another big win. I wouldn't apologize for this one either. Atlanta Falcons are a weird team, and you just want to get
Yep.
on the right side of the field with them because they will beat anybody and lose to anyone for sure.
Yeah, the Falcons are just. I've said this before. They're a decent coaching staff away from being very competitive. They have some amazing weapons on both sides of the field. They their quarterback is getting there. You got Bijan Robinson, so you're never out of it. But the Colts won the week in multiple ways. First off, Carly Ursay Gordon continues to prove she might be the best owner in the league. She is, the three sisters all have a role. She's the one that's always down on the sideline with the headset on. She's more the CEO out of the three. She stopped by a bar in Berlin that was packed with Colts fans, and she bought everyone drinks. So brilliant PR move. That's all. That's people will talk. And hey, you're in Europe. A lot of those fans are probably Americans in town. They already spent a ton of money on tickets and flights, and now you're buying them beers. And if they're actual homegrown Europeans in that bar, you're winning them over with the best diplomacy possible, free booze. So good job there. And then we talked last week about, Jonathan Taylor kind of fell out of the MVP race. He reasserted himself this week. Is 244 yards. I believe that's the most from a running back in the league this season.
I believe so. Yes.
I believe. I could be wrong. We're in a single game. I'm trying to see if in the official game recap it says anything. But he is only the fourth running back in NFL history to have at least 200 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns in a game twice in his career. The other 3 are pretty good: Jim Brown, Adrian Peterson, and Derrick Henry. So, yeah.
Talk about turning it around. And what about Sauce Gardner? They basically said, "Hey, welcome to the team. Hop on this plane. We're going to Berlin, buddy." And he ended up playing out there. I don't know how well he did overall. It's kind of hard to,
Let's see if he's got a box score stat anywhere.
Yeah,
Sauce Gardner had 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 pass defense. So he got in there.
I mean, just getting in there and playing at all, how quick he had to go to the Colts, go to Indianapolis, then go to Berlin, and now it's going to be flying back. I think that was pretty cool for Sauce Gardner to just even go out there and do it. They want him on that team, and they got him out there quickly. They decided going into the game, they're like, "Hey, welcome to the team. You got Drake London. Don't worry about anything else on the defense right now." So, pretty tall task, especially if you don't know the defense, the scheme that well, because you're just getting into that team. And Sauce Gardner,
and London had a good game, 6 for 104 with a touchdown.
Yeah, and I don't freak out about Sauce Gardner yet, Colts fans. It's just a weird one that he had to go to Berlin to, but we'll see. We'll see if that trade will work out this season. That's about all they got.
And again, as far as this season goes, I think it was a good trade. My big thing was giving up the 2 1s because your team isn't all that young. So that kind of was shocking. But who knows? Maybe it's going to work out. Y'all are still right there with the Pats competing for that 1 seed. And now the Colts they get to go back. They get to relax. They've got to bye.
It should work out for them at least this season. It's just the rest of the trade. I don't know.
Yeah,
Colts still looking good. That's for sure. Should we kick it off, Rob? Should we go into picks?
Yes. Again, I'm sorry, Colts. I didn't mean to skip over you. I was only halfway done my coffee listening to that game. It seemed like so long ago after last night's stinker.
yeah, yeah. That game made us forget about you, Colts, but I stayed in there for you. I looked out for you, and we got you on. But let's kick it off. Move on to picks.
Making picks with Nick and Roll. Nick and Roll. The pick might be a hatchet job. Less reliable than a goat on the cob, but I love hearing picks from Nick and Roll. Da, 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 da.
Rob, I did it.
You
Look
did.
at this bad boy. Bam!
It's there. Oh, and we are close.
I had no clue. I literally went through each of the shows, stayed at the very end, and I just went, okay, so he picked that. That was a win. And I typed it in manually and then racked them up. And apparently, and I'm shocked by this. I actually didn't think I was just one game behind because you started the season hot. I remember that doing this, but
I've cooled
Rob's
off a
got
bit.
a 1 game lead on me. Yeah, really, it's just been even, and I just slowly have climbed a game here or
You
there.
chipped away. You chipped away.
Yeah, throughout the weeks, but that's where we're at right now. Rob's got the lead. I believe 19 correct, and I've got 18. And we're just going to keep chugging along. I'll keep updating this, and we can post it on X. I'm going to try to fancy it up some, but at least I got the content out there, and I got that set up.
That's awesome. It's something one or both of us should have been keeping track of all season. Thank you for going ahead and finally doing that. We got 2 games to pick this week, and it's the bookend games of the week. We got a Thursday and a Monday game.
Okay, so first one's not too exciting, right?
Well, neither of them really are. But you got a division. The game's going to be in New England on Thursday. It's going to be cold. The fans are hype. They are really hype. I will say right now, the line is Patriots 12.5. If we were basing it on the spread, I would pick the Jets to cover because it's a Thursday night game, because it's a short week, because it's a divisional battle. These games get funky. They just do. But I just have to pick the winner. And that's going to be Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots.
I mean, can't really disagree. I don't like division games, and I don't like the Thursday night game. Okay, I'm right there with you. But if I was a gambling man, and I don't like spreads that are too big, I always pick the underdog in that. But give me Patriots by the 9.5 on top of it. I think this is just going to be a blowout. I think the Jets just came off a big win. There's the bounce down game. No one ever talks about that, where they feel so excited and then they end up losing.
Yep.
And the Patriots might have that same thing. I guess they just beat Tampa Bay, but I think they got this.
The Pats
and
defense
Vrabel
is
doesn't
too
allow
good.
trap games.
Yeah. And I mean, as Tony Romo said, the Patriots are apparently DTF. So
whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Tony. So yeah, so that's our Monday game.
It cracked me up. But so that's the
Thursday game. That's a Thursday game.
That's a
and now
Thursday
we're
game.
going to the Monday. Now we go to the Monday game. Dallas is traveling to Sin City, sir.
the playing in Vegas. So I mean, I'm a homer, so I'm just gonna go with it. I've got good Dallas mojo going right now. I got Nico getting fired. I got my basketball team back. I don't know. I've just got good feelings in my hair. Look, and I know what a lot of Cowboy fans are thinking. This is going to be an easy one, blowout. You can't say that. We lost our right. We lost our right to say whatever is going to be an easy win will be an easy win. So, yes, we're playing against Geno Smith. Yes, their offense is god-awful. I still don't know. Their defense isn't good either, but it's not like the offenses look good for the Cowboys. So I I would go Cowboys, but I hate it when I feel confident going into it. So I'm going to give you a skeptical Cowboys. How about that? To try to shoot it.
I'm also going to pick the Cowboys, but remember, this is that Raiders team that is that beat New England in Week 1. So, and they do have players, and it is a chance for the Cowboys. I mean, does Dak or CD or Pickens, any of them have gambling problems we don't know about? That's always a risk when you're traveling to Vegas. But no, the Cowboys should win this one. It's going to be a higher score than anyone wants to see. But this is also a chance after those trades to help the defense. I think everyone's expecting that the defense is going to look better and perform better
with the trades. They should, right? But I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to go with the win. I'm just very skeptical on this.
If I had to make a prediction, I would predict that we're going to do our next pod on next Tuesday night, and you're going to be in a very happy mood because you'll be 24 hours removed from the defense only giving up 24 points or less and getting a couple turnovers.
And only allowing 45% conversion rate on third down.
That's a win.
That's a win. Maybe stop a 3rd and 10 every once in a while. I would be, really jazzed with stopping the firepower that is Geno Smith. But we'll see for sure. But I think it's going to be a big week. Colts on their bye week, so that should be. I wish they could play, but they all have to take a break, Rob, and that's all we got.
They do. They do. But you know what? I think this is going to be the start of a mini run for these Cowboys.
Very well could be. I mean, after this, it's the Eagles, and that's the gauntlet. That's the ultimate test. So if you end up pulling off a game against the Eagles, it could happen.
But they always play the Eagles well, so I would expect them to still play the Eagles well.
Yeah, Dak's got an incredible record in the NFC East, but, seems to always work out for him. But that is our show, though. And, Rob, any other points to make? Any other observations?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Thursday night. Hopefully Drake May wows a national audience and shows off for our fans of the pod. Thanks, Justin, for coming on, giving us the first-person perspective for the Tampa Bay Bucs and the New England Patriots game. It's always great to have friends of the pod on and joining us. And if you got mad that I forgot about the Colts, send us a message. Let me know. That means you're a fan, and then maybe we'll have you on the show.
Better watch out, Rob. Dallas fired Nico. Okay, it can. Don't make the fans angry. Okay. All right, we can't have that over here. Okay.
Fair enough.
But yeah, and by the way, Justin, again, thank you on my end for being on the show. It was really good. I love getting, we got a Bronco fan and a Tampa Bay fan. I like getting outside sports fans' perspectives on what their team's about and what they're doing and how it all works for them over there. The live feed, it should have, of course, me and Rob are going to be on the live feed. Deshaun said he'd actually join. I know he's not a Patriots fan, but I was like, get him on.
Hey,
let's do it.
That'd be great.
Yeah, the more the merrier. And but other than that, Rob, where can they find us?
Yeah, if you're watching our beautiful faces on YouTube, you found us. Good job. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Leave a review. Let us know how the pod's going. We love interactions. Also, reminder: if you pop onto the YouTube or the X stream, Nick and Rob Homer Hour for both. Pop onto that on Thursday. You can interact with us throughout the show through the chat. We're very active with our chat, so we'd love to have you all on. If you usually listen on the phone, you can't always have the YouTube app up because it likes to only be the only thing going. You can pull us up on Spotify. We are there on Spotify, Nick and Rob Homer Hour. Listen to us as you're getting your stuff done. And then, of course, we're on Instagram as well, Nick and Rob Homer Hour. And once again, at Nick and Rob Homer Hour, we're on TikTok. If you enjoy some good shorts, some of our best clips from each week, Nick pulls them. He puts them up on TikTok.
Yep. And, feel free to please join along with us on that game, because we love the comments too on that Thursday night game. That should be a lot of fun. Thank you guys for anybody that made it this far. Thank you so much for listening to us. We really do appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you next time.
See you next time.